our lifetime, who will be the first cricket world test champions? Super excited. The team's been announced. And I'll say I'm really looking forward to it. It is the team that I am happy with. Ishant, Bumrah, and Shami all together with Jadeja and Ashwin. And that is the first time that combination has lethal combination has bowled together. We'll go to the States first. Varun, you're not happy with the selection, I take it?
I mean, I thought India would play with four pacers. Considering also New Zealand have good batsmen, and it's also a green pitch. It's an England pitch, so I thought we would play with four pacers. Maybe Siraj could come in, but anyways, we also got an extra batsman in our hands. Ravindra Jadeja. That's also an advantage, because he's back and he looks in full form. So I'm in between with the selection, but yeah, I think we can win this one if Virat Kohli hits his century now.
So everybody wants Virat Kohli to get the century. I want Virat Kohli to get the century. I know a lot of RCB fans don't believe me, but it is true. I want India to win this test match. And if Virat gets a double century, I'll be doubly happy. And we will take it from there. We go to Calcutta. Ashish in Calcutta. I know it's raining in Calcutta. It's pretty miserable in UK. It's not raining where I am, but I hear it's raining in Southampton. What's your thoughts on the team?
I thought the best team available is put out on display, and I think this is the most experienced side that you can possibly ask for. There are no loose ends. You look at the pace battery; it is one of the best in the world, probably the best in Indian history. You have Shami, Ishant, and Bumrah. If you look at their record, it's impeccable. And you have two of our greatest spinners of all time, possibly. Jadeja and Ashwin. If you look at their record as well, it's splendid record. And our top six has been as solid as ever. Except maybe Shubman Gill, who's in bad form. The other five batsmen are top notch, top quality. I think this is a really solid, well balanced side. And player for player, I think India is a better side overall. But New Zealand might have a slight advantage because of the conditions, but I am not counting India out at all.
Yes, and that's the big thing. The New Zealand team, having watched them live at Edgbaston on the Saturday, they were absolutely exceptional. And they will cause India a lot of problems, especially if there's a lot of cloud cover. We go to Jaipur and Anuj. Anuj, how are you? And everything good with you?
Absolutely, Baji. Fine, always. But yeah, as you said, talking about the match, I guess, I mean, we were making these speculations that, India will be going with Ishant. Romit also said, you also said. So they are going with Ishant. No Mohammad Siraj, no Mia Bhai, in the finals. But yeah, now looking forward to it because obviously, as Ashwin also shared a story sort of stuff on our, I guess somebody sent that on our group that it's raining in Southampton. So I think you have to expect a game. I guess at least 40 to 50 overs game tomorrow because I believe that 90% of chance of rain is there. For the tomorrow's play. So looking forward to it. Just that कि बारिश जो है पाजी वो दूर है. But yeah, looking forward to it definitely.
And when we talk about the Barish, it's been absolutely beautiful. It's been Indian conditions in England. As soon as the test match starts, it returns back to type. I've been chatting to a lot of people in India, and they were saying, "Look at the clouds. It's like England." But today, as I say, it is a bit grey. Tomorrow there's rain. There's possible rain on Sunday, and then hopefully I will be in Southampton on the Monday to watch the game. Hopefully there's no rain there. Romit in Calcutta. Romit, I know you follow a football fan as well. But what do you think of the team selection of India?
I guess the team selection is only for the display. Like anyway, it's going to rain, and the decision can't be taken. Also taking the lineups into consideration. So I feel rain will be the spoil factor, and I guess we'll have like very less amount of play for this match because tomorrow there's 70% showers. So I guess we might not have more than 20 or 15 to 20 overs of play. So you can't really expect anything. So I'm expecting a draw because that will be the most likely result in this match. But anyway, taking to be optimistic, we saw that it's a green track, and we know we have batters who can play on green track. like who have performed well also. So I guess this won't be a problem for our batters. Like they won't struggle much, I feel, and maybe some big innings coming from the likes of Virat or Rohit. With they are due one. Rohit is due an overseas century, and also Virat has not scored since 2019. So maybe we can see any one of these two players stepping up and scoring a big century. So we can expect that. And anyway, but if you consider both the lineups, I feel since New Zealand has played two test matches in England, they have the energy with them, and also they're looking for towards the win. So I feel New Zealand have a slighter edge again for above India. But anyway, it would be a good match. I just feel the rain shouldn't be a spoil sport. I feel that there should be some miracle, and we have sunny conditions tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not going to be singing much, hoping that it's nothing. There will be no Barish Puja, as you all know. I won't do any of that. I want the sun to come, and hopefully we will see, at least a competitive match. Because, to be fair, for a World Test Championship to be drawn, I think it's probably the worst advert for the cricket. So we definitely need a winner. Hopefully, the sixth day might come into play where we will see the result. But with the way the weather forecast is, it's not looking good. The only beauty is if the sun does come out quite quickly, the clouds do move. So it really depends. If we do get some sunshine, we'll probably get a lot more overs. During the Edgbaston test on the Saturday, it looked like it was going to rain, but it didn't rain, and it was forecasted to rain, but it was dry. So I'm quite optimistic how it will be. So luckily Southampton is more sunny than where I am, so hopefully that will happen. Up to Deep. You're looking at the New Zealand part. I say India are looking strong on paper. What is the lineup for New Zealand, or what do you expect New Zealand to happen with New Zealand?
So the only thing is that I don't see Colin de Grandhomme fitting into their 11. So their top six, they just pick themselves: Tom Latham, Devon Conway, Kane Williamson, then Ross Taylor, BJ Watling, Henry Nichols. Then after that, 7 to 11, they'll have Kyle Jamieson, Neil Wagner, Tim Southey, Trent Bolt, and Ajaz Patel. That's going to be their 11, and I don't think there is any discussion on that. But when we see this 11 and when we see India's 11, so the bowling lineup is pretty much the same on paper if you compare and give numbers to them. So bowling lineup is pretty much the same. But the toss is going to be an important factor here from New Zealand's perspective. Because if we see the history of this ground, Southampton, the last match where England played Pakistan, so Zach Crawley scored a double century, 267. Josh Butler scored a 152 when England was playing first, and the total was 583. And they only played one innings, and then they gave follow-on to Pakistan. But so that's the impact when you bat first on this particular ground. But tomorrow, what will happen is when there is 70% chance of rains and the conditions are overcast, the captains will be tempted to bowl first. And if they are bowling first and it rains, Trent Bolt and Neil Wagner are going to wreak havoc on Indian batsmen, even if it's a 20 overs game. So toss is going to be an important factor, and it would be nice for Virat Kohli to lose the toss this time.
Yeah.
So that
yeah, and Virat has a habit of losing the tosses. I agree with you on that as well. I think New Zealand really have to bat first if it's going to go on to the sixth day, and we do have a lot of overs, because obviously then India spinners do come in on day 4 or 5. And remember, they haven't faced the quality spinners India has against England, so it is a different attack. And there was no Jofra Archer in that attack either for England, so that was a weakened attack. And the New Zealand did struggle against Ollie Robinson. So if you look at Ollie Robinson and compare him to Bumrah, Shami, or Ishant, you'd always pick the 3 Indian bowlers over Ollie Robinson. Up to the United States, and Prasanna. Prasanna, great to see you again. How you been, and how's things in the States?
Yeah, things are fine. Everything is opening up, so it's pretty much back to normal. I think New York yesterday went back to all restrictions have been lifted, and so everything is back to normal here almost.
Oh, that's brilliant to hear. And your views on the team. Are you happy with the team? And do you expect this team to go on to lift the trophy?
Yeah, I think the lineup kind of speaks for itself. It's a full strength team, no excuses. And actually the game starts at 4:30 a.m. for me from where I am. So So may not see the full game. So, but let's see how much I'm able to see it. But yeah, it's a full strength squad. No excuses. We have the firepower to do so. We have Jadeja coming back. We'll have Ishant coming back. Mohammad Shami is back after a lengthy layoff. So we should. We have no reason to be scared of New Zealand. Yes, they are a good team, but we have no reason to be scared of. And you have to set a game from the off. And I think probably bowling first might help us because we have bowlers who can get some initial swing. But yeah, looking forward to a good test match, and hopefully we can lift the trophy at the end of day 5 or 6.
Yeah, and Ashish, to you, obviously the toss is going to be important. The batting line was obviously you're from Calcutta, and Shubman Gill is playing instead of Mayank Agarwal. That was the big question. Are you happy with that selection?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Shubman Gill, some players, Paji, if you look at them, they have a habit of stepping up at big moments. For example, in Australia, at the Gabba, in the fourth and the final test match and the second innings. That kid, I shouldn't say him as a kid because him and I are of the same age. He had all the pressure in the world, and to just play that innings, without that kind of pressure, just carefree batting. That is some of the most brilliant batting I've ever seen of someone of that age, and he plays like it's a game. It's a game that you're supposed to enjoy, and he doesn't take pressure at big moments. So I'm very happy that he is selected over Mayank or KL Rahul, because KL Rahul, if you see his record in the big moments, he's really not performing. In the World Cup semi-finals, if you see in the match against New Zealand, he got out at 1. And other matches also, if I can point out, I can point out many matches that he hasn't performed in big moments. And Rohit Sharma, on the other hand, has a point to prove. He has to perform in this test match, especially in the England series, because he has to save his legacy. He has not scored a single century outside of India. He has a point to prove over there as well. So the opening partnership, I am very happy. This is the best possible opening partnership that you can come up with for India. And I'm most excited for Rishabh Pant, because he's going to be the X factor of both teams. The way he bats. There was a shot, Paji, if you remember, in the India-England series, he hit off Jimmy Anderson. I can't describe that shot till now. I'm just speechless. I was speechless then. I'm speechless now. There was a scene in Lagan, the film Lagan, where that crazy person, type of person, he was just holding the bat and he just lofted it over the wicketkeeper's head. That was a very similar moment. So Rishabh Pant is unpredictable. I am really excited to see what he brings to the table, because he's going to be the game changer. He will just change the game in a matter of probably a few overs. He has the ability to do that. So I think he is going to be the deciding factor if we have a full 5-day match without proper rain interruption. So I think he's going to be a big factor, I think.
And that's what everybody is saying. We had the live yesterday, and everybody is looking forward to Rishabh Pant. And I think that is the key difference between the two teams. You hit it on the net. It is that game changer player. If you're batting from 45 to 80 overs, that person that can accelerate the innings. I don't see New Zealand having that. Their batting is pretty similar from A to Z. They do not have that X factor player, whereas India do. And then you add Ravi Jadeja into that mix. You're 5, 6, or 7. You've definitely got the two lefties, and they could cause havoc for New Zealand. And if it is a tight game, they could take the game away from New Zealand. Whereas New Zealand don't have the same batsman there. Varun, your man Kane, no gain. So your heart is saying India, or your head is saying Kane. Which way is it?
I'm not really a big fan of Kane, even though he's an SRH. I'm a Warner fan. So, I don't care if Kane gets out for a duck or gets out for a double century. I don't care about him. I'm India all the way. Yeah. So, let's go with India this time. And, all the SRH fans are hoping that Kane hits a double century. But, the outcome should be, a win for India. So, that's what all the SRH fans are expecting. Hope Bumrah can get out Kane early, though, because he can be dangerous at moments.
And that's the key in this area. Like when I saw them, they had that mid innings collapse against England, and if India can keep that pressure on them throughout that innings, they can restrict them to a smaller score, which will put India in the driving seat. Because if India can say get 100 lead or 200 lead for the bat second, I can see the match finishing even without the rain. So that is going to be the key captaincy decisions. Virat's captain will be tested from the ball one to the end ball. And should India lose, it will be chaos in India. It will be chaos around the world. 1 billion cricket fans in India will go ballistic. Anuj, before I have to leave because I have a match to go to, straight to you, Bumrah, Shami, Ashant. Who is going to be the main wicket keeper? And can Bumrah capture his form? Because a lot of people are questioning whether Bumrah is ready or match fit, should be playing, because that wouldn't been questioned a while, but people are actually questioning that decision now.
I think for me, key will be Bumrah. I think also Shami, has the certain amount of capability to swing the ball. But for me, in bowling department, we had Zahir Khan captaining in 2011 World Cup. MS Dhoni also said this particular stuff, that he was the bowling captain for them. I believe that Jasprit Bumrah has this capability that he can, just like Rishabh Pant, he can change the scenario in few overs. If he gets the right length, and if he bowls in the right channel. We saw in West Indies when he, I think he got hat trick in West Indies, if memory serves me right. I think back in 2018, I guess, or in 19 after the World Cup. So I think Bumrah's fitness will be the key. But yeah, for me the surprise was Ishant. I guess I wanted Siraj badly in the playing 11 because he is in form, for RCB as well as for Indian team of late. So I wanted Siraj, but they are going with the experienced campaigner, that is Ishant Sharma. So let's see. But yeah, Bumrah will be the key factor in the bowling department for sure.
Yeah, and something, I went for the Ishant because of the form. Siraj was just out of my front 11 because the three players are really, really good in England. Somebody put it on the group today, 32 wickets or in 24 games or something like that. So a lot of wickets, lot of experience in English conditions. So I think that was the reason why they chose it. Deep, I'm going to go, so I'm going to hand you over the reins. Just a quick one for you to start off. For you, New Zealand's biggest threat and why? And for me, I'm going to say I'm hoping for an Indian win. We will be on the channel throughout the 5 days doing World Cricket Fans live. So please join us. I'll hand over to Deep. Deep is the stats guru. So Deep, over to you, and Jai Hind. See you later.
Yeah, sure, Paji. Sure, Paji.
Thank you.
I hope when we meet next, we will be talking about India's victory.
Cool. Definitely. All right, guys, I will see you later, and good luck, India. Jai Hind. Bye.
Jai Hind. Right. So let's move to Romit. So Romit, we have discussed India's bowling lineup so far, but let's look at from Kane Williamson's perspective. So India in the World Test Championship, they lost 3 games outside India, 2 against New Zealand, 1 against India, and they won only three test matches. So will it haunt India that they have lost two test matches against New Zealand in the World Test Championship cycle? And how important Kyle Jamieson and Tim Southee are going to be?
See, if you say it won't haunt India, because we have seen New Zealand has almost defeated every team in their home. So this is a different condition, and looking at it, like India, we have seen has a 11% win in England condition, and New Zealand has around 9 or 10. So both are at equal ground. So I guess even New Zealand will also not haunt India. In fact, India will also not haunt New Zealand. So it will be a good matchup, and it will be a good contest. And I guess it shouldn't be one-sided, considering the past records and all. And we have also seen Kane Williamson not struggling in England condition in the first match. So we have bowlers who can actually make Kane Williamson struggle. So in that case, it would be an even contest. And as you are talking about Kyle Jamieson, obviously he has scored well against India, and also he has scored well. He has got around 226 runs in 5 test matches and also scored a 50. So Jamieson is a very good, actually a good all-rounder, and can actually give you those 30 to 40 runs at coming at number 7. So Kyle Jamieson is an important factor, and we have seen him bowling in against England, Like his ball was bouncing also, and it was swinging as well. So he can be a threat for our batters because we have seen our batters struggling to extra bounce plus swing. We have seen Virat Kohli getting out to that. So he can be a threat for both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli because they both struggle to swing and bounce when it comes together. So Kyle Jamieson is actually a very threatening factor for us. And Team Saudi, we have seen like he swings the ball like he just swing like he swings it naturally. Like even if there is no swing in condition, Team Saudi will swing it either way. So Team Saudi will be a very important thing for New Zealand, and I feel our batters will play bold better than Saudi. Saudi will trouble us more than bold. I guess that, and I feel that. So that's why Saudi will be a very like if we can play out Saudi, I feel we can get at least more 20 to 30 extra runs, which might be crucial at the end. So that's why I feel players should look out for Saudi much more and they should look out to bowl. Jamieson and Saudi, these would be the main bowlers of New Zealand, I feel, in this test match.
I think you mentioned it absolutely correct. That even I was also worried about Tim Saudi rather than Trent Bolt or Neil Wagner, especially in these conditions where just after rain, that spell of Tim Saudi from one end and Trent Bolt from another. So let's move on to Sanjay, RCB fan. Kyle Jamieson, he played in RCB this year. He must have bowled to Virat Kohli in the nets. So, how important this battle is going to be? Kyle Jamieson bowling to Virat Kohli. So, who will win this battle?
I'm pretty sure that Virat Kohli will outplay Kyle Jamieson because Virat Kohli has faced much better bowlers compared to Kyle Jamieson. So he has faced Bolt here, but given the factor against Tim Southey, we can't talk because he has beat out Virat Kohli for 3 times. I think Kyle Jamieson Virat Kohli will outplay Kyle Jamieson because Virat doesn't struggle much for bounce. We have seen he'll play that pull shot, like he'll play these type of shot for the short balls. And Kylie Jamieson, I think he's not my pick. He's not my star pick for WTC finals. I'm surely not going to pick Kylie Jamieson because even against England, he just had one wicket, 2 wicket. That doesn't matter picking 1 wicket or 2 wicket. But I think Kylie Jamieson might not play up to the mark for New Zealand in the finals because they made him sit even in the second match. So if they had given the chance in the second match against England, he could have shown some form. Like he could have picked 3 to 4 wickets, or he could have done well with the bat. Even though NZ won, he could have scored well. So keeping India's bowling lineup in the mind with Bumrah, Shami, and Ishan Sharma, I think Kyle Jamieson cannot produce much because Shami is one kind who takes the time to set. Even though if he opens the spell, even if he bowls the first over, I can tell 20 overs he goes without a wicket, he'll swing. Shami's main part is just the half of the inning. Once half of the inning is done and the second innings, there is no one better than Shami who can swing the ball in the second innings. We have seen Shami do it all the ways. So my vote is for Shami, not for Kyle Jamieson here. So Virat will outplay for sure.
Right,
I'll
right.
add to one.
Yeah.
I'll just add one point. As Sanju, you mentioned, yes, Virat doesn't struggle against bounce, but we have seen him getting out at the third slip or the gully because when the ball bounces a bit, he tries to cut it or he tries to defend it. Then the extra bounce which comes in, it hits the top of his edge of his bat and he gets caught. So that is what I was mentioning. Yeah,
I'm telling it
considering Jamieson
because
swinging the ball, that's why. Yeah.
I'm telling why Virat outplays Jamieson is Virat has played Jamieson in the nets, not with the red ball, Duke ball. I agree with that. He has bowled him in the net with the white ball. So Virat will have an idea. Cricketer like him will surely have an idea like how the ball comes to him in the red ball if he bowls in the Duke ball. So he'll be expecting some swing. So once if he has played Jamieson in the nets, I am sure that he'll outplay it because we know he's the tallest when compared to the cricketing this thing. So he might outplay him because, as you told, yeah, I have noticed third slip and gully. Yeah, Virat has more wickets there only. Yeah, but my vote is still for Virat Kohli because as he experienced Jamieson in the nets. If he had not done so, then I would surely go with Jamieson because he was the one who took Virat's wicket in the NZ Tour. So I would surely go now. As of now, I would still stay with Virat Kohli.
Right, right. So I think this discussion is at a neutral stage. So let's go to Anhek. So Anhek, we have discussed India's bowling. New Zealand's bowling, India's batting, New Zealand's batting. But if we see the overall test match in these four different phases, New Zealand batting, India bowling, New Zealand bowling. So among these four, which factor will decide the result of the test match according to you?
It's difficult to say point out one factor because the both the teams have so many match winners. They can be anyone, literally anyone. It could be Bumrah, it could be Kyle Jamieson, it could be Tim Southee, it could be Shami, maybe Ashwin even. Because if there might be a chance that it's very bright and sunny all of a sudden in day 4 or 5, maybe possibly, Ashwin might spin the ball and spin them in a web. So there are many options. But if I had to pick one, like I said, it would be Rishabh Pant. He is unpredictable. He is, for lack of a better word, crazy, I would say, because he's absolutely unpredictable. He just destroys bowling attack, whether it's spin, whether it's fast bowling, whether it's swinging, bouncy conditions. We have seen him score runs all over the world. I think he's the only wicketkeeper batsman that has scored a century in England as well as Australia, and that is, I think, really unheard of. So I think he's going to be the X factor, like I said. So within the 4 or 5 days, there can be many heroes. So I think Rishabh is one from India. Another one might be Virat Kohli, because if you remember in the 2018 tour, he was the highest run scorer from both the sides. He was unstoppable. So I think if he can come out with that mentality that he had in 2018, I think he'll be literally unstoppable, and the bowlers will find it hard to bowl to him. And I think from the New Zealand perspective, I think the one player that we have not mentioned yet is Devon Convoy. I think he's going to be a real pain, because if we don't get him out early, we have seen what he has done to England. He has converted 50 to 100, 100 to 150, 150 to 200. He's a batsman that will stay long in the crease and also will hurt you. So he's a very big factor. If we don't get him out quickly, we are in trouble. So I'm counting on Bumrah to take him out. Bumrah is another player that we have to hope that comes through for us. The second player from New Zealand, I would say, is not Kyle Jamieson, rather Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson is one of the best players in the world. If you see his record, he's the number one batsman in the world, and his average is really remarkable. And I think his average is edging out even Kohli's average. So I think he's one of the players that we have to look out for. If we don't get him out early, he's another batsman that could hurt you. So these are the around 4 players. These are the 4 players that I would say are the X factors of the match, and I think those will be really, how their performance goes is really impactful for the match. And for
Right. Sanju wants to add something on Devon Conway's statement.
Okay. Yeah.
Sanju.
But I agree, Devon Conway is one hell of a player in the T20, or whether take it test, whether take it ODI. But when it comes to test, Devon Conway faced all the newbies he faced, Ollie Robinson, Ollie Stone, all the newbies he faced. So they don't have much experience they have the experience of List A or county cricket. So when it comes to Indian bowling lineup, Devon Conway has never even faced ball of Bumrah, never even faced ball of Shami. So when it comes to Ishan Sharma, I would pick Ishan to take Devon Conway's wicket, because we have seen Devon Conway just playing those drives and those flick shots. Ishan might trouble him. So when coming to Indian bowling lineup, I'm sure that Devon Conway will not cross 80 runs.
Right. So let's move on to Sunny. So we have talked about so many players, so many match winners, but among all these discussions, we have missed 2 very important players. So they have played crucial part in their innings. So I'm talking about Ajinkya Rahane for India and Ross Taylor for New Zealand. So when we talk about all the match winners, we usually tend to forget these 2 players, but the kind of importance they have in India's batting lineup and New Zealand's batting lineup, it's like really commendable. So who do you think will perform better on this big stage, Ross Taylor or Ajinkya Rahane?
Well, to be honest, as an Indian fan, I'm hoping that Ajinkya Rahane comes on top of his game in this final. I don't want Ross Taylor to do that much well. I know what he did in the semi-final. He actually built a crucial partnership in that semi-final. I don't remember who was the other player, but he was there, and that crucial partnership of Ross Taylor with the other New Zealand batsmen proved a little bit costly for us, and I don't want him to replicate that kind of knock here.
but we all know that both are class players. Ajinkya Rahane, although he's not looking pretty good in the picture, but he scored above 1,000 runs at an average of 43, if I'm not wrong. And I think someone who has got that sort of caliber, and not to forget what he did in the Melbourne after we got 36 all out in Adelaide, he came back strongly. He played a captain's knock in the absence of Virat Kohli. So we know that he's a big match player, and in pressure situations he does really well, and he has been doing that over a consistent period of time. And not to forget also what he did on a green top wicket at the Lords in 2014, where all the batsmen were finding the bowlers very difficult. He actually played a pretty sensible knock there and helped Team India, achieve a victory at Lords after, I would say, I think it was 28 years, if I'm not wrong. So I think Ajinkya Rahane is actually, I would say, a player who has been an opener also. So when it comes to the second new ball, he could turn out to be very handy if he's set, because you need someone who's actually, if let's say Virat Kohli has done well, or one of the openers has done really well, and India are looking in a commandable position, then Ajinkya Rahane is someone who can actually take the charge of the second new ball and can actually give you quick runs if needed. And also he can play the role of an anchor, which we've already seen. So he can play he can play in both, I would say, situations really well. And when it comes to Ross Taylor, both are similar kind of players, and Ross Taylor has been doing that really really well for New Zealand, and for a consistent period of time he's also doing pretty good, be it in one day cricket or be it in test cricket. And he's been phenomenal. So as an Indian fan, I'm hoping that Ross Taylor fails and Ajinkya Rahane performs better.
Right. So let's move on to Romit. So now let's discuss a different aspect. So how important is the difference from 300 to 330 is going to be, due to the contributions from the lower order in batting lineup? I'm talking about Kyle Jamieson, Tim Southee, Neil Wagner, and from India's perspective, R. Ashwin, Ishant Sharma, and Mohammad Shami. So, how important these contributions are going to be in this particular match, where we will see? So, it is expected that it's going to be a low-scoring match.
See, the tail ender's contribution will be a very crucial factor, because we have seen previously in any test also, like those 30-40 extra runs proves costly for any team. Like we have seen team losing by 20 to 30 runs. So those tail enders, like if we want to increase and lead, then those tail enders would become in very handy, because we can't expect, like if we score around a 250 or a 260, and we can't expect that New Zealand will score something below 200. So when we are about like 250 for 7 or 260 for 7 or 8, then those at the more 30 to 40 runs, which can Shami or Bumrah, any one of them can give, that can take us to 290 or 300. So that extra benefit of 20 or 30 runs, we can capitalize on that actually and get New Zealand out within 270 or 260. So those 20 runs lead would be a very important factor for us for the next innings, because in the second innings we don't know how the conditions would be. If it is overcast, then we can't expect India to score more than 150 or 160. So those 20 runs, if we can get and score around 150, 160, then we can give a target around 200, which will be difficult for New Zealand to chase in the fourth innings. So because the ball would be swinging a lot, there will be overcast conditions, as because we are expecting showers. So that tail ender role will be very important. And if the tail ender of New Zealand scores better, or from us, if we score better, that would be a very important factor for deciding the winner of the game. Most likely it might be a draw, but still the tail ender batting and giving those 30 to 40 extra runs will be a deciding factor, I feel, because it will be a very tense match and a close match. And if we can get the extra 30-40 bonus from our tail enders, like we'll be in a good position.
Right. So now we are trying to close this discussion and trying to come to a conclusion. So Ahik, your last question. So imagine you are in Kane Williamson's shoes. You are at the toss. You have won the toss. So, as Kane Williamson, what would you do? So, will you bat first or will you bowl first, and what's the reason?
I think I'll bowl first because putting pressure on the batting side will be easy because of the overcast conditions. You never know what the conditions are going to be. It might rain for the majority of the day, and the batting, you might not get a lot of batting chance. So it's very sensible to put the pressure on the batting team first because the ball swings in England, as we know, and more than likely there are going to be overcast conditions, and their strength is their fast bowling lineup. They are going with mostly fast bowlers and just one spinner. So it's better for them to use that opportunity to get out the Indian batsmen and put a real pressure on them, and go batting second, because batting second will be easier because the Indian bowlers will not be able to cope with I think the top order of New Zealand if they stick over there, because the top order of the New Zealand is really underrated. All of their names are, they don't have big names. We have a lot more players that are big name players. They have players like Latham. They have players like Conway that have just come up. Also, BJ Watling is a name that I think we have missed out. He's a player that is going to be a real key in scoring that, like you were saying, 300 to 330. He's going to be a key factor in driving those runs. So I think it's going to be hard to get them out. I think we are all assuming that it's really easy to go through the New Zealand top order. I think it's more complicated than that, more difficult than that. So I think New Zealand has a very good batting lineup that no one is talking about. So they have it's going to be hard for them to get out, for India to get them out. So I think it's logical for them to bowl first and stick to their strengths.
Right, right. So Sanju, so now I'm asking you to be in Virat Kohli's shoes. You have lost the toss, and New Zealand has opted to bowl first. And as a captain, you have to bat first. So will you be happy with this decision of losing the toss? That you don't have to face those New Zealand bowlers after the rain, and now your spinners will be able to bowl to New Zealand when sun comes.
Yeah, if there is no rain in the if there is no rain in Southampton, I think batting first would be advantage for India, because keeping in mind New Zealand just has one spinner, Rajas Patel, because Mitchell Santner is out due to injury, so we can outplay him. And if India bats first, there is a chances of scoring 250 and above. I would not 250 and above. I would not like to tell 300, because the conditions there, when it might rain, we don't know. It might rain in the half of the innings. Like if first 10 overs get over, it might rain. Then again, it will be advantage for New Zealand. So I think if India bats first with no rain there, I think they'll be able to put up a good score. The only thing India lacks is opening partnership. Opening partnership is difficult when you are up against Tim Southey, who can swing the ball however he needs. Whether if the pitch is not swing friendly, also Tim Southey tells that I can swing it however I want. So we have seen Shubman Gill getting out for James Anderson in the Modi Stadium, the same swing delivery. So yeah, opening partnership matters a lot. If openers build up a good partnership of 75 to 80 runs, then India will surely cross 250 plus.
Right, right. As you mentioned about opening partnership, so India women, they have now put up 146 for zero. This is their opening stand against England women. Shefali Verma playing at 80 runs and Smriti Mandhana 61. So now my question to Imam is that, will Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill be able to replicate what Shefali Verma and Smriti Mandhana are doing against England right now?
Uh, Hi, Deepai. I hope that happens, but we have to take into account that we are playing on a used track in Bristol, and tomorrow's pitch is going to be slightly different compared to what we are seeing the match on today. Because I was just looking at the pitch in one of the pictures, it was slightly green. Simon Dool tweeted that let's not mow it down, let's keep it the way it is, and he was just teasing Dinesh Karthik with his tweet. So I see the worry for me is, guys, that tomorrow's game, it's like a catch 22. If you win the toss, you cannot bowl first as India because you are playing two spinners, and you cannot take that chance of playing two spinners and then bowling first. It doesn't make sense. If it is so overcast, then you should have definitely played an extra seamer. But again, our batters don't bowl and our bowlers don't bat. That's a problem which we have for the last 5 years. So we have to deal with that. So the only, the best option for India is to win the toss and bat first. I know it's easier said than done, but that is how you win games in England. There is movement each and every day. It's not that it's going to be only in the first day, and all the help is going to be on the first day. No, it's not the case. You need to see out those 2 hours and 3 hours. Now you have made it to the World Test Championship final for a reason. You've shown a lot of grit and determination in Australia, and you have got results which were unexpected. So what you need to do as Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma tomorrow is to give that first session. If we end up batting first, give that first session to the bowlers. You just score 40 or 50, that's absolutely fine. We just have to go out there and play. All of us are stroke makers in that team. Even Ravindra Jadeja and comes and plays his shot. So you can always make up for those lost overs if you are going slowly. So win the toss, bat first, and do something which Sanjay Bangar and Rahul Dravid did. If you remember in Headingley, that's something which we need to. I hope that match was looked at in the preparation, because it was absolutely green, absolutely overcast. Ganguly won the toss and batted because he was playing two spinners. So it's very similar situation now. It's like that. So you just have to give the first session to the bowlers, and knowing the Indian batting, I'm sure that they'll be able to take care of it after session one. But that's the first session which is going to be critical, and that will decide the match for me.
Right. You currently pointed out. So by the end of tomorrow's day, so I think 70% of the outcome of this World Test Championship will be decided. So now let's move on to Sunny Bhai and try to conclude this discussion. So Sunny Bhai, with all three results possible, Virat Kohli taking the World Test Championship home, Kane Williamson taking the World Test Championship home, and Virat Kohli and Kane Williamson sharing the World Test Championship. So what do you think is the likely result that you expect? And so these are two different questions. So what do you think will happen, and what do you want?
Well, personally, we all want Team India to lift that World Test Championship mace. And what will happen is, as we can see that rain is predicted on almost all the days. So there is a chance that the trophy is going to be shared. But I think even if it's shared, it could turn out to be good for both the teams, because both the teams are looking hungry to win an ICC event. The way New Zealand lost last year, it could be a chance for them as a redemption, because they somehow lost that much because of that, I would say, a useless law which was there, but which is corrected now. And if India wins, then it's going to be the question mark which is there on Virat's captaincy, that he is not been able to win any ICC tournament as a captain. I think that could turn out to be really good for him if he wins this. So it's quite difficult to call out that what's going to be the result. But as you rightly mentioned about it'll be pretty clear what will be the outcome looking at the first session tomorrow, because which team does well in that session, they'll be having a slight edge on the outcome in their favor.
Right. So same question to Sanju. What do you want, and what will happen?
Obviously, being an Indian fan, I want India to win the World Test Championship. As I was about to say about Virat Kohli, Sunny covered everything. That trolls and that memes coming on Virat Kohli that he's not a best captain or something and all. He can answer that pretty aram say if he wins the trophy with W Test Championship. But I'm praying one thing which can't be predicted. Let no rain be there. If no rain is there, it is a greater advantage for India. If rain comes, I think the momentum shifts to New Zealand. But I want India to win. But if you just see the practical this thing and all, there are 80% chances of trophy being shared.
Right. So Imam Bhai, same question to you before we conclude. What do you want, and what will happen?
Well, no, all of us want an Indian victory, and what will happen? I'll tell you something. I would definitely not like losing to anybody. I don't want my team to lose to anyone. But if there is one team, I'll not mind to lose if it's a tight game. That's New Zealand. I love the guys. I love Williamson. In fact, Deep, one of the sessions which we had, Sonny will remember this, right? Around 3-4 months ago, when this Championship final was decided, that will be played between these two teams. I said this. I was hosting that show. I said I would not mind if India loses this final, even though I would love them to win it. But Williamson and team are absolutely fabulous group of players. I'll be very happy for them. So in a way, what I want is a drawn game. I'll be happy with the maze being shared between the two wonderful players of this generation.
Right. I think so. I'll also share my views. So I want a tie. So both Virat Kohli and Kane Williamson sharing the trophy. And what will happen is kind of I have a different opinion, because I am sensing Kane Williamson finally lifting the trophy, because I can't see the guys. I mean, the way Williamson loses after smiles after losing. I mean, I can't see that face once again. Just after that 2015 final, just after 2019 final, and now in 2021. So
Deep, just to add, that final, that press conference. If you guys have not watched the press conference of after the game, watch it. Okay? People who are looking at us right now, watching this, watch that press conference after the final. Any other captain, including Virat, first of all, might have refused to, you know, enter that press conference room because they would have been gutted because of the silly rule. Secondly, they wouldn't have been able to, present themselves the way Williamson did. And one of the question which Pakistan journalists asked him, the last question, he specifically asked him, Kane, you're such a wonderful person. You have been such a great ambassador of the game. And how are you able to still cope up with it? Matlab, what shall everybody do to be like you? So he laughed. He said, you know what? The wonderful thing about this world is you can leave the person to be as he is. So that's the beauty of this world. So let's leave it at that. And everybody got up and clapped. Every journalist in that room was clapping for him. That moment for me, it summed up Kane Williamson's entire life. And for me, he won me for life right there. So I think that's where I'm saying, even if he lives a cup, I'll not mind. Sorry, Deep, please continue. Just wanted to add that antidote.
Yeah. So with all three results possible, let's meet tomorrow and discuss, analyze the game with probably more information that we will have in hand. Probably we will know 70% of the outcome, but still with 30% uncertainty, we will analyze the result of the game. So I hope you really like our analysis. Yeah, Sunny, you want to conclude?
Well, I think we've discussed almost everything. We've discussed about all the three results possible on the show, and we all are hoping for a good competition, a close test match, not a one-sided one, because you need to have a match worthy of a final. So no matter what the outcome would be, we should be praying for a close contest, for for I think I'm hoping for a very, very close contest. I'm hoping for a last ball finish. I know it's not possible in test cricket, but let's just hope for that. Let's get to witness a test championship final which actually finishes on the last ball. And I think that's it from all of us. Till then, goodbye, take
Right.
care.
I want to add one thing.
Go on.
If it goes till day 6, last session, then I think Indian spinners must have wreaked havoc. So India will be the favorites.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else want to add anything? Or should we wrap it up? Yep. Thank you guys, all of you, for being here, for being on World Cricket Fans, sharing your views. We'll definitely catch up with you tomorrow after the first session, and we'll discuss whatever will happen in the match. Till then, take care, goodbye, and stay safe.